welcome to my channel and welcome to my website. My name is Daryl, and this is Programming in Any Language. The website is www.black-duck.com. It's where you'll find all my videos organized in logical order. Once you have the character data type down, it's good to see how you can use it in a real application. This is the password validation application. The idea here is the user enters a potential password into the text box. The password needs to be at least 8 characters long. It should also have at least one numeric digit, one uppercase digit, and letter I should say, and one lowercase character. Anything else is up to you. The rules are displayed on the form, and when you press the verify button, the application will tell you which rules passed and which were in error. There's some interesting decision making going on in this application. And this is a great example of how to use Booleans in the verification process. Here's how we do this. We're going to do the password validation app that you saw in the intro of this video. It's not a very complex app, but it is kind of intriguing because you get to use Booleans in here and you get to use the character data type and you get to examine all these things. And there's, it seems like it might be complicated, but it's really not that bad. It's pretty straightforward. You get it right down to it, thanks to the fact that we have character data types. Take a look. I've got this form sitting over here, and basically what it's got in it is a number of items that prepared ahead of time so we don't have to deal with it. There's certainly a title up here, which is nothing more than a label, which is unnamed because we're not going to use it in code. The other thing I have is one big label right here. This is actually a large label, label 3. And if you look at the text in this thing, it's built like this. It's actually built where all of the items are in it as one big text item, and it appears in the form this way. So it made it kind of simple to do. There are labels on the side here. This one happens to be called past, and if we look at what it's named, it's called length past, LBL length past. And if I send it to the back, there's another one here called error, and it's called LBL length error. So we get length past, length error. We also have a upper past, a label upper past, a label upper error, a label lower past, label lower error, and it's hard to say, and an LBL digit past, and if I send this one to the back, you can see there's also a LBL digit error on here. These things are all invisible right away from the get-go. So when we start this program up, the user is going to end up entering some kind of a password in here. In fact, even the verify is unenabled. So as soon as something is typed into the text box, this verify will become enabled, and we'll be able to click on it. Once we click on it, it goes through and checks each character of this thing to check that it follows the instructions that are sitting up here. When it finds an error or something that doesn't work, it marks the particular item as an error. Otherwise, it marks it as passed. So if you get 4 green passed items on here, you've got a good password that passes all these rules. If any of the items are red error, then you have a problem, and it tells you exactly what that problem is. You don't have enough characters in the password. You don't have at least one uppercase character. So that's also, there's a clear button too that actually wipes out everything and lets you start over. In fact, the form load makes use of this clear button as well. When it starts up, it sets everything up so that we can get going on this thing. And there's an exit button. There's no code written in this thing. The enter a password is also a label saying label 1, nothing there. This text password is what we've got here. We've got a verify button. We've got a clear button clear, and we got button exit. And that's really the extent of it. I did happen to put the password validation in the form, so we've got a little text item up here, but basically there's no code in this thing. So we're going to go ahead and make that code right now and make this thing work. And what do we always start with? We start with the exit button. So we'll just double click on this guy and pop it in. We get our button void, and we're all set to go here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically say / close form. And we're going to say this dot close done. And so we've closed our form. So that's done. We're going to do a file save here. Always a good idea to just test at various times. Try it now. And that's what our form looks like. And we can type in it and nothing happens in the verify. The clear is still working or it doesn't do anything. Exit will do something. Otherwise, it's all sitting there. We don't see any pass. We don't see any error sitting on here. That'll happen when we start programming this thing. So we'll get up and we'll take a look at this. The next thing we want to do is we want to go up into the global area. And I'm going to go ahead and actually set this global area up by giving it a little title. Global area. And I'm going to put in a bool called BLN EIGHT characters. And that's going to be, why am I getting an error there? Because I've got it in the wrong spot, that's why. Okay, well, that's okay, we'll fix that in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put my comment in here, and we'll say that it's going to true/f 8 characters. And then let's put this in the right spot now. I'm going to take my global area and put it down here. That's where it goes. Oops, I didn't want to do a copy. I want to do an X. I'll just get rid of these now. That's fine. Now we're sitting there. Now we've got our first Boolean is in place. Next Boolean is going to be Boolean uppercase. BLN uppercase. True, false, 1 uppercase character. BOL Boolean lowercase. This will be a true/false for 1 lowercase character. And we need a Boolean digit. BLN, let's call it numeric case. True/false, 1 numeric character. Those are our requirements. We have the 8 characters in there too. So these are rules that we're going to try to follow when we actually write this form. What else are we going to need? Well, we're going to need a place to store the password itself when the user enters it. So a string str password. And this is going to be what we're going to examine 1 character at a time to see if it follows the rules. Holds password. We also need an integer. We're going to call it int password length. We're going to be using loops in this procedure. Holds length of password. We're going to be using loops to check all the characters in the password, and we don't know how long the password's going to be. It could be at least 8 characters. It could be less if it has an error in it, but it could be a lot more than that too. And so we'll need that count so we can know how long our loop should go and checking each of the characters we've got in there. So that's all we need to do here. That's basically it. So let's look at our form. So file save first of all, and let's look at our form. So the next thing we want to do is we want to actually bring in something and enter it. So we probably want to put in a verify right in here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the verify button and see what it's going to do. Well, the verify is going to do a bunch of things. So let's go ahead and click on it. It's going to, first of all, bring in whatever the user types in. So it's going to be a str password is going to be equal to txt password dot text. Where's my, let's get rid of this. So I can see a little better here. Get rid of this too. Yeah, I want to bring my, there it is, / read text box. We then want to go ahead and say int password length is going to be equal to str password dot length -1. Why -1? Because if we enter 8 characters, they're really entering in 0 through 7. So that number we have is 8, but we want to be able to have our loop go from 0 through 7. We don't want to stop at 8. So we're going to pop that in there, and this will be our get length of string. Good. Now it's going to have to do its work. So we want to check the length. Call check length method. I haven't dropped my THs here. We're also going to have it go ahead and do a check upper. These will match the Booleans we just did. Call check upper method. Check lower. Call check lower method. Check digit. And we're going to call check numeric method. We then are going to validate the password. How are we going to do that? Well, that's going to be where our Booleans come in. We're going to see how many we actually popped up in here. What's going to happen here, let's call validate routine. What's happening here
is the check length is going to go through the string and look to see that it is at least 8 characters long. If it is, we're going to set a Boolean of length to true. Otherwise, we're going to make it false. The check upper is going to count each character, and it's going to look for an uppercase character. Once it finds an uppercase character, it's going to send the uppercase Boolean to true. Same thing with lower. It's going to check all the characters in the string, and once it finds the first lowercase character, it's going to set the Boolean to true. And the digit, it's going to look for numeric. Once it finds a numeric, it'll set the numeric to true. Otherwise, false. And then this guy right here is going to check to see if we got all those things there. And if we do, great. We'll pop it in and tell us if we have a valid password or not a valid password. So let's go ahead and continue. What do we do first? Well, we're also going to want to clean this thing up by having our form load do some special things. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to actually write the check length thing first, I think, is what we should do. So for check length, we'll just write it right here. And this will be a private void check length. It must have heard me. We get that in place, and all we're going to do here is simply say if int password length is greater than or equal to 8 Boolean EIGH characters is equal to true. That's all we need to say. That's it. We're then going to take a look at the upper, and we're going to go ahead and private void check upper. Let's give ourselves some room here. And we're going to say if, actually we're going to make a loop here because we want to look through all the characters that are there. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than password length, and we're going to increase I. So there's our loop. This will step us through all of the characters that are there. And we're going to say if char dot is upper, and we're going to be looking at str password sub I bln uppercase is equal to true. That's all we need to do. That just simply checks all the characters in there. So we're going to set this thing to false to begin with, and it is set to false when we look at our design here. All our Booleans are going to, actually we're going to set those Booleans to false. Okay, and that's it. That's all we need to do. Okay, we're good there now. That's covered our uppercase. Let's do our lowercase. Private void check lowercase. That takes care of the error, puts our code in place here. What do we do here? We do the same thing as we did with the uppercase thing. We simply go in there and create a loop, and we say for int equals 0, int is less than password length, and we're going to increase the I. And we pop down here and we say if char, if character, dot is lower, string password I, and we set up our bln lowercase is equal to true. That tells us we have a lowercase character. So we've now done everything we need to do to check digit next. So we'll pop in there and do that. Private void check digit. And how do we do that? Another loop for I is less than, and there it is, password. There, it's giving us the right stuff now. And if char dot is digit, string password, we set our bln numeric case to true. And that's all we need to do. That puts that all in place. We're going to do the validate routine here. And what that's going to do, it's going to check all of the Booleans we have in place here, and then it'll set these labels up here based on what we've actually got here. So let's go ahead and do that as part of the verify routine. Bounce back into the verify, and let's put that right underneath the validate so we can see it right here. And we'll simply say private void validate password, and set up our braces. What does validate have to do? What it has to do is say if bln 8 characters and LBL, if it's true, LBL length passed, remember those are those labels, dot visible is equal to true. Else LBL length error dot visible is equal to true. So that's going to turn on either the passed or the error button based on whether or not Boolean 8 character is true or not. We're then going to also go down and say if BLN lowercase LBL lower passed dot visible is true, else LBL lower passed lower error dot visible is true. Bounce down here, we say if BLN uppercase LBL upper passed visible is true, otherwise LBL upper error dot visible is equal to true. And finally, if Boolean digit passed, let's screwed up digit, come on. If Boolean digit, no, if Boolean numeric case bring this up. Boolean numeric case, then LBL digit passed visible is true, else LBL digit error is equal to true. And that's it. Do a file save, and we're all set to go. Now, this is not clean. It should be running. We don't have any errors at this point, to my knowledge. I don't see any errors here. It'll run, and it'll do its thing, but it won't close things off. So we'll do a little cosmetic work after this is all done to make that all happen. So we're going to do a start, and we'll try something like a go for a password here, or GP, whatever we want. And nothing happens. The verify button doesn't turn on. So that's one thing we haven't done yet. We haven't enabled the verify button. So let's pop out of here, and let's go to our text box and double click on it. And the default event is text changed. So by going to the default event of our text box, we can simply say button verify, btn verify dot enabled is equal to true. That puts that in place. That enables verify button. Now let's try it. We'll try go. Verify button comes on. I can hit enter on it, and it actually runs. It gives us an error that's not 8 characters long. It has at least one uppercase character. It doesn't have an uppercase character. We must have an error there. And it must have at least one lowercase. So that's passed, but I don't see why we don't have an upper. And an error here. We should have got an error on the uppercase character. Let's check that out and see what's going on here. So we'll do an exit on this thing and look at our uppercase. Check upper. Button uppercase is true. Maybe I got it wrong in my verify routine. Let's go ahead and look at this. Okay, here it is. Here it is. If uppercase, upper passed, else upper passed visible. See, this is wrong. This is error. This should be passed. This should be error. Upper error visible. That should fix that up. And we're okay on the rest of this thing. Passed error. Just double check on all these. Passed error, passed error, passed error. And that's looking fine. So that's been in place there. So let's do a save. Start. Go. Verify comes on. Error. Now we got our errors working properly. Good. Let's try something else to make sure it works. And that would be, let's see. Password. Verify this. And it does the thing. It turned on. You can see we have a problem with the clearing right now. So we're going to want to fix all that to make it work. But it looked like it was a pass on the uppercase characters on capital P's there. But it left this error sitting on top of here, which was from the last time. So these need to be cleaned off and cleared. So let's go ahead and do that real quickly. Let's set up a clear button. That might help real nice to do that. So we'll jump into our form here. And we'll jump into the clear button. And since we want to do the same thing in our we start the program up, we're going to simply call a method. We're going to say reset application. Call reset application method. Why am I doing this? Because we want clear to clear it, but we also want form load to set this thing up when we do this. So I'm going to go ahead and create that button clear, right, or this reset application here by doing a private void reset application and give it the braces. That gets rid of the errors. Now let's take a look and see what that should look like. Reset application. We want it to be able to clear the password that was entered. Text password dot text is equal to quote quote clear text box. txt password dot focus set focus for the user. Then we want to go ahead and take all those labels we've got here. This LBL digit error dot visible is going to be equal to false. LBL digit passed visible is going to be equal to false. LBL length error dot visible is equal to false. LBL length passed visible is going to be equal to false. LBL lower error dot visible is equal to false, and LBL lower passed is going to be equal to false. LBL upper error visible is false, and LBL upper passed is going to be equal to false. That should cover them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 we're looking at. Now we also want to take the buttons, and we will say that button verify dot enabled button verify dot enabled is equal to false. We want to turn that button off because we cleared it, coming in clean again. We also want to take the 8 characters, the Booleans, BLN 8 characters, and make it equal to false. Because when we come into this program, we're going to consider that nothing works. The password you're entering is going to be false. And you have to put in something, you have to pass those rules in order to set it to true. BLN 8 characters. Oh, we got that. BLN uppercase is equal to false. BLN lowercase is equal to false. Why do we get an extra case in there? And BLN numeric case is equal to false. And that should end what we need to do our reset application. Now we also want to put this thing in form load. So when we actually start, let's get rid of this and go into here, double click on this, and there's our form load, and we want to put the reset application in here too. So reset application is going to go into form load. File save, and let's run it. Comes up, we'll try the go. Verify pops open. We have errors everywhere except the lowercase, so that's working fine. Okay, let's clear it. That worked nice, and it set my focus in there nicely. We're going to say password 1 and do a verify. It doesn't have enough characters. If it's got everything else passed, that's looking good. Okay, so let's clear it. Let's put in my password 1. Verify it. Still got an error. We're missing it. Well, we're missing a digit. We have an error in there. It must contain at least one numeric digit. Well, we have a numeric digit in there. Let's see what's going on. We have an error here. So let's check the verification routine there. Is digit. BLN numeric if character is digit. For I equals, it's just checking it here. We got the Boolean case, so it's looking. It's actually going to set it to true if it finds a digit here in the password. So that's there. So let's look at the verify piece or the validation piece. Where's the is digit? Right here. If BLN numeric case passed, true. LBL digit passed. If BLN numeric case is true, then digit passed. Otherwise, is it false? Why didn't it do this? Okay, let's take a look and see what's going on here. We'll put a breakpoint right in there. Let's start this program up. What did we use? We used my password 1. We did a verify on it. It's stopping here. And let's see what this is. This particular, the Boolean is false. We can see that here. So we'll tab down, or we'll hit F11, and it's going to jump down here and say LBL digit error is true. Oh, okay. If it's true, it's false. Why is it false? Boolean numeric case is false. That's not true. Okay, so it's actually indicating an error here. Interesting. So let's go ahead and kill this. Stop debugging and find out why it said that. When we jump down here, we did our check, upper check, lower check digit. For int equals I equals 0, int in password length, increment it. If character is digit, str password I, Boolean numeric case is true. So what's set it to false? Why is it coming in false? We need to check this. We'll put the breakpoint here. Run it. My password 1. Verify. It gets into this piece right here, and we're gonna let's do a watch on this thing now. We're going to add the numeric case to a watch. That brings that over. We'll put this up over here, and it's false right now. We're also going to look at the I. Add that to the watch, and it's going to go into it now and hit F11. So we're going to it's 0. It's looking at that thing. Is it less than I? Okay. Is it a digit? My? No, it's not. Look at 2. We're looking at my character. We're looking at 3. We're looking at 4. We're looking at 5. My password 1. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should be the 10th character is going to be a digit. Just where you should get in there. So we're going to jump through. Nine. Okay. What are we looking at now? We're looking at my password 1. Let's view it. Now let's just look at it here. The character is 10. It bypassed it. It didn't get through there. It didn't get into the 1. Check digit is sitting at false. So we ended up our numeric case sitting at false. It never changed it to 0. Why is that? Let's do F5 and come through. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like it's not looking at this guy. Or it doesn't see it. Let's clear this. Let's take our breakpoint off. Let's put that 1 earlier into the game here. Get rid of the, we don't need this right now. Pop this out. And let's go to our program and type in my, and then put a 1 in here, password, and verify it. Passed everything. So it looks like it's having a problem with this end right here, with this length. So it might not be getting to that last guy, because if we end up with clearing this thing and we put in my password 1 and do a verify, we get the error. Interesting. If we clear it and put in my password 1 and put another character after it, see what happens. Verify it, it passes. So it looks like it's not getting here. It looks like it's not checking that last character. So let's take a look at this, see what's going on here. What's going on? If we look at our length, we start looking at these loops. Our string password is less than is whatever length is less than 1. So if we end up with my password, watch it check. What happens if we end up changing this? Actually, let's not do that yet. Let's look at the if statements. If I is less than in password length, does this need to be less than or equal to? If we look at the check upper, let's look at the numeric piece. Where is the numeric piece? There it is. Check digit, right here. Yeah, it needs to be less than or equal to the password length. It's not looking at that whole thing. So if it's less than or equal to less than or equal, so it needs to get to less than or equal to. Yeah, because once it gets to that, it goes beyond 8. Whatever it needs to go beyond, it's going to end. That should do it right here. And is that a problem with the other ones? Well, that's interesting. I'm going to actually double check this. Let's do my password 1 again. My password 1. Verify it. Yeah, that works now. But let's try something else. Let's try my password with a capital D on the end and see if it finds the D. Yeah, it passed. Clear. My password D. No, needs an uppercase character. It's not finding it. And at least one numeric digit. Okay, it doesn't have the numeric digit. But we are failing here. So it looks like all these things need to be less than or equal to. So that's what you find in testing. Yeah, check digits, fine. Check lower, got to be an equal sign in here. Check upper's got to be an equal sign in here. And then we have to look at check length is fine, greater than or equal to 8. We're fine here. That's going to solve it. File, save all. Start. My one password, capital D on the end of this thing. Bang, it passed everything. So now we have it working. Now it's working just fine. We can put down X, Y, Z. So 1, 2, 3. Some weird stuff in here, and then maybe a capital Y right in there, and verify it, and it's passed. So you could use a password, something like that. So that's our password verification routine. Yeah, you got to test. You got to test because when you do all this if statement stuff, it can get kind of complicated, and you can make mistakes. So you want to go through the step of time to find out what it looks like. There's not a lot of code, 150 lines of code here. But the checking needs to be done in such a way that these things are going to fast. Nice use of methods here. You tell it what's going to have to do, and then you can put all these things in place and make them work. So that's what we've got. Not a bad application. We got it working, and it seems to be working just fine. So that's it.
Well, that was a nice, tight app. When we get into classes, you'll learn how to add something like this to any application that needs password protection. Now that we have seen how the char works, or character works, and how it can be used in an application, we are going to extend this knowledge to substrings. That's our next video. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. And if you get a chance, please subscribe. That way, you'll be notified when something new is available. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.